what just happened to the #1 rated World Tour player in the finals? The #1 player in the finals, so obviously not ranked Terminal Attack but World Tour, UI227 was recently banned about 2 days ago, but we didn't really see the resolution of the story until earlier today, so let's go into it. For those who don't know, the current #1 player in the World Tour is this guy, UI227. He's been grinding at it with his full stack, including the now current #1 player in the World Tour leaderboard, Thunder. And fun fact, before the ban, both Thunder and UI had the exact same amount of total cash cashed out, leading to the leaderboard showing 2 different players both as the holders of the first place spot. And this isn't even the first time that this guy topped the leaderboards either. While I cannot find a screenshot of the leaderboard at the time, many users have attested to that UI was the #1 player for damage dealt in the latest community event as well. But 2 days or so ago, UI227 mysteriously disappeared from the leaderboards. Many speculated upon why he was banned. Was he cheating? Was he account sharing? I mean, in order to get over 43 million cashed out since the season was released, he's had to grind for over 10 hours a day on average. And since most players neither want to or even have the time or capacity to even play for that long, day after day after day, many suspected that he simply shared the account with somebody else. And I actually wanted to make a video about the situation when UI227 initially disappeared from the leaderboards, but I did decide to opt against it, not only because he came into my chat and explained that it was a false ban, but also because we just didn't have the full picture. But now, it seems fair to say that we do. When I asked around about the details of the ban, and believe me, I tried to shake every tree that I could, all I could find were a ton of players saying that this guy was cheating and that they had submitted a report to Embark directly using their manual reporting system that you can use on the finals official Discord. Some of these players conveniently were even in my chat at the time and ended up sending me clips which they had submitted themselves, and honestly man, I have a hard time seeing it. The guy has solid aim and very good recoil control, but it wasn't really a single time in any of these clips that I was sent where I felt it was 100% unnatural. I mean, one of the users sent me this clip, and I don't know, it looks good, but I don't feel like it's impossible or in any means inhuman. The enemies in the clip stood completely still and let UI get some recoil practice in during a live match, and when you look closer you can see that there still is plenty of sway in the gun as he sprays them down. It's clean, it's accurate, but I don't feel like it looks mechanical in any way. Digging deeper, I did hop into his channel myself and I looked through some of the most popular clips, and I do have to say that while the first one doesn't look that insane, I can see how this one would make somebody trip up. I even double checked with some other players to get a second opinion before I make myself look like an absolute idiot. This clip is extremely clean with perfect AKM recoil pattern control coupled with recoil smoothing, and it almost looked like a robot is doing it. But honestly, as impressive as it is, it's doable. It's human, at least I think so. Keep in mind that this was a player moving in a straight line on low gravity, and that the AKM has comparatively easy recoil pattern to master. I mean, in UI's own words, you should see him on FCAR, it isn't pretty. Also, I wanted to mention that you could compare the recoil between these two clips and see that it does look a bit different. The recoil in the clip where the enemies are standing sways a lot more than the recoil in the second low gravity clip, but I feel inclined to say that this is because of recoil smoothing more than any type of script. But I don't know, at the end of the day, I'm not really trained in detecting cheaters or anything, so I am curious to hear what you guys think about it in the comments. And I also want to quickly mention that if you guys do want to collect your own clips of your own suspect beams for whatever reason, then you will want to hear more about the sponsor of today's video, Outplay. Are you still manually clipping and recording your clips? Why? Half of the time your clips aren't even on. It doesn't clip anything or it even gets corrupted. Well, thanks to the sponsor of today's video, I have a guaranteed fix for you, and that's Outplay. With Outplay, you can clip, edit, and share to anyone just with a couple of clicks. Want the clip of you falling off the map and dying? Well, if you want, you can decide to have it clip every time you die. Or you can have Outplay mark whenever you get a kill or a win or an assist. It is entirely up to you. My personal favorite feature is that you can clip, trim, and edit, and then even share just by using the app. You don't need any additional software to send it over to your friends so that they can ignore it. It's all inside of Outplay. You don't need anything else. And of course, Outplay supports a ton of games, and the library is ever expanding. Use my link in the description to download Outplayed for free. And thank you again, Outplay, for sponsoring this video. But anyways, back to UI. These clips got a lot of views, and it wouldn't surprise me if an inexperienced intern or moderator or whoever manages the bans over at the final security team felt like there was strong enough evidence, especially in conjunction to supposed mass reports that we'll talk about later, which would lead to a ban. Assuming that there was investigation, one could argue that since UI227 was unbanned later on, it could clear him of any wrongdoing, assuming that Embark does their due diligence. So this means that most likely the #1 World Tour grinder was banned from a manual report, that being a manually supported clip, either from his own stream or from somebody who died to him. It makes the most sense that the ban would come from his stream, seeing as he only started streaming recently, which lines up with him getting a ban all of a sudden after having been grinding for so long. We'll probably never know exactly which clip did him in, or if it was the in-game anti-cheat itself that reacted to some type of spam reports. I mean, as far as I'm aware, spam reports normally aren't enough evidence to warrant a ban on their own, but then again, I think that's just in my own experience, seeing as it doesn't seem like I've actually ever received spam reports, account of me actually never getting banned myself. So if anything, maybe that just means that I suck at the game more than anything. But anyways, as of today, or I guess technically yesterday by the time this video is out, UI227 is now unbanned. He is able to play the game as usual, but with one major issue. All of his cash has been completely wiped. Now, initially when I saw this, I was a little bit sussed out, I'm not gonna lie. I was wondering why he was able to play but still not show up on the leaderboard. It did not make sense to me. But it turns out that once I checked his VOD, he actually had the forethought to show off his stats and the account level at the very start of the stream, which proves that he actually is playing on his own account. This is not a new account or smurf to circumvent the ban or whatever. It's just that for whatever reason, the World Tour cash does not show up on the leaderboard. But after investigating farther and asking around, this was when I was approached by Vio, who is the current #5 on the leaderboard, adding some crucial context as to why UI227 no longer has any cash on his profile. And it's actually very simple too, it's nothing nefarious. Apparently this is just something that happens if somebody gets banned, and I guess unbanned. It will generally take a few days for the leaderboard to update and actually include him again. That being said, it is a shame to see that UI227 received what has to be a false ban and lose out on that super cool #1 spot that he kept going for so long. I mean, I actually don't know how much cash they had when they quit. Maybe they still have the same amount of cash, in which case I guess it will restore itself, but I digress. And obviously, while it is good that people do report stuff that looks sus or breaks TOS, which does keep blatant cheaters or rule breakers out of the finals, it does suck to see that skilled players, even somebody who has been around for as long as UI227, still manages to get stuck in the crosshairs. I'm sure that they're not the only victim of these types of false bans either, just the most recent and most notable one. So I really hope that Embark takes another close look at their process before blindly banning somebody in the future. Especially because, by the way, this guy already has received one manual ban in the past that was reverted, obviously, supposedly in the same way. I'm not proud of assuming that the ban was a legitimate off-rip because, but in my defense, there usually are. And it took some digging around and asking around before I actually learned just how bad the finals can get with false bans, because it does have a pretty aggressive system when it comes to manual reports, as with any manual reports and bans. And as with any game's manual reports and bans, it seems like it's a double-edged sword. I mean, I should know all about that, since as anyone following the OG Ottr lore knows, I received a 30-minute or so permanent ban before Pro League, all the way back in the early days of Apex Legends. I am, however, proud of the fact that while I did discuss it on stream and gave my thoughts, and I threw all my speculations out there, that I did hold off on reporting on this before enough information was out before wildly throwing out accusations based off a ban, which was later reversed. That's also sadly something that I had to learn about firsthand all the way back then. But that's my 2 cents on it, and now we're all in the know. The grind continues tomorrow. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Peace out.